welcome to another episode of Playmakers. Today, my special guest has ventured around Asia for the past 3 years in pursuit of her mixed martial arts dream. She's returned to Aotearoa to spread the good word to wahine everywhere. Her name is Nyrene Crowley. Kia ora.
Kia ora. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Oh, look, I know you've been home for a little while now, but welcome back.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be back on home soil?
Oh man, you know what? Like I actually haven't been back that long. Like when I came back, it was like a big, you know, I had to kind of figure things out really quickly. But I'm starting to find my feet and I'm starting to get into a bit of a rhythm and a routine, which is so important to me. But I love being home. I'm so happy to be home. Oh gosh, I'm not doing it with the mic. But yeah, I'm so happy to be home. So yeah, only up from here.
Yeah, I was watching a couple of you've been documenting your time over in Asia and it just looked absolutely beautiful and you look like you were having the time of your life. But that last one you posted coming back home, it looked like it was really truly meaningful to you and you just couldn't wait to get to Auckland Airport, basically.
Man. Yeah. I mean, what a lot of people don't realise is I was trying to come back home for a little while before, you know, the world shut down. I was really starting to miss home and unfortunately when everything kind of happened, Indonesia blocked off their borders and so we couldn't even get out to come home, you know, like to be able to get home from Bali, Indonesia, from where I was based, I would have had to fly from Bali to Jakarta to Singapore back home. And unfortunately, like because they closed international travel, domestic travel, they completely banned it. I couldn't even get out to Jakarta, so I was trapped. Almost like kind of trapped in Bali for a little bit longer than I would have, you know, that I initially planned for. But yeah, it was a bit of a journey to come home. And even like when I was coming home, there was always this kind of threat that a flight could get cancelled and I'd be stuck somewhere for like God knows how long. And there were kind of things along the way, even before I made my journey home. When I went to Singapore when we have to visa run and people were basically just making rules up on the spot. No one knew what was happening. And
no one's an expert in it.
Yeah. I was almost trapped in like 2 different countries to do 2-week quarantines and I was like crying at the airport. It was a mess, yeah. But yeah, I made it home, yeah.
Give us a little insight into your time over in Asia. What took you there? What kept you there for so long before you came home?
Yeah, so I mean, I left New Zealand mid-2017. So I'd been training and fighting for about 3 or 4 years before I made the decision to go. And I was very blessed and I am very grateful that I was under very good tutelage. I was at Auckland MMA. I started at Wild Stables, represent, which is no longer around, but I always want to acknowledge where I started. And so I was very grateful to be under people like Hamish Robertson and Vando and to be mentored by people like Ev Ting and Ina Manasseh and to have really strong fighters around me, you know, like even fighters like young fighters like Rosella Su'e. So I came up very, very looked after, I guess you could say. So I got to a point where I basically had to make a decision, you know, and it was really hard because, I mean, you would understand this too, is like you get brought up in a very different, I guess, generation that is around now, where there is this kind of pressure to follow societal standards, and there's a certain way to come up. You study, you stay in school, you study, get a career, get a job, have a family, get a house. That's your life, you know. And so, and I think it's very different now because many more people are starting to understand, you know, that there is so much opportunity and there are different options out there. So I'd reached a point where I had to make a decision. And I was like, man, I'm not young. No, I look young, but no, but I really wanted to make the most out of my life. And at the point, fighting and martial arts was making me so happy, and I just wanted to keep doing it. I got to a point where I wanted to test myself against the best in the world, the best that the world could offer. And the only way that I was going to do that is if I left. Because what people don't understand is like when you're based in New Zealand, a lot of the time if you don't have the network around you, promoters don't even see you, and it's so much of an issue for them to include people like Kiwis on their card because they've got to fly them over, and so for me I knew that in order to make my pathway better and easier for me, not easier but a little bit kind of better for me, I had to leave.
Realistic.
More realistic.
Yeah.
I had to leave, and so I was based in Thailand with my partner at the time for a few months, and we were trying to make it work in Thailand. And I'd been to Thailand a lot, and I love Thailand, love it, but it just wasn't working the way that I had hoped, and I'd kind of reached a point where I really thought that I'd messed up, and I was like already like planning to come back home, but part of me and what I knew I wanted to achieve is there was no second option for me. I'd left home, and there's that competitive nature inside of me that's like, you can do this. Yeah. and so I really wanted to make it work, and we were very, very lucky to be approached by Bali MMA, who basically sent a message to Ev Ting, who linked the two parties together. And we got an opportunity to base ourselves out of Bali, and that was something I never ever thought. I didn't even know where Bali was. I didn't know it was part of Indonesia. Yeah. I didn't know Indonesia was the 4th largest country in the world. It's like there was a lot of uncertainty. I was very, and I still am very much a believer of the workings of the universe. And so if you put yourself in the position to be guided and molded, you've got to take that risk and you've got to take that leap. And so that's what I did. We were very lucky, and the universe looked after us, and we ended up in Bali.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then this opportunity with One Warrior Series comes up with Rich Franklin, who, if you don't know who Rich Franklin is, ladies and gentlemen,
he's the man.
Former UFC middleweight champion Rich Franklin was talking to you like you were in the same breathing space, girl.
Girl.
What?
Girl.
What was your first encounter with him like?
Oh man, straight off the bat, cool dude. Really awesome guy. One of the most, because he's getting a little bit, but you just wouldn't know. The guy is in shape, and he works hard, and he's so disciplined about everything that he does, so I was very lucky. I wasn't in Bali for very long, maybe 3 months, and then this opportunity came up. And so my coaches got wind of it, and then there was an application process that they kind of filled out my details for. And then I got invited to come and trial for this One Warrior Series promotion that he was fronting. And so, obviously, you have to kind of keep a relative calmness when you're, because you don't want to be
cool.
that. Be cool. You don't want to be that guy. I'm sure they get it so much, but it's like you have to be, cool, calm, and collected. And he was really good. The trial went really well. He gave me some really, really good pointers, and he's a good dude, man. I remember further along when I got the opportunity to fight for one championship, I sent him an email, and I just thanked him, because you have to always remember the people that helped you along the way. And although One Warrior Series and one championship are very closely linked, it was just really important to me. And him and his team, they worked really hard to look after me through that series, which led to other opportunities. So
that's it. There was one video I watched, and you got quite emotional in it, talking about your uncle had passed away before your world title fight. And you spoke about mental fortitude. So that got me thinking. I was like, that must be, you were there with your partner, but it must be pretty tough to not have that support system around you.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's exactly right. And this is why, a lot of people, when they do move away, they don't tend to talk about it too much, because it is quite an emotional thing. And like you say, there's just a different energy. And at Bali MMA, there's a massive push to, we were like a little family over there, and so they became my family. For the 3 years that I was over there for, they became my family. But it was still so difficult personally, just having to navigate quite emotional events that I wasn't at home for. I missed my best friends getting married, giving birth. I missed 2 of my uncles passing away, which was heavily traumatic. Just emotional. It wasn't traumatic. It was just really emotionally distressing, and in particular, like just when you're trying to prepare for opportunities like that, you know, world title fights and all that kind of stuff, you know, it's just that extra thing that you've got to be able to push through. And like you say, like, it challenges you to become stronger mentally, and yeah.
So did you get back, have your pie, and you were away?
Yeah. You know I did. So yeah, man, my first, like, even when I was in quarantine, man, like, I was like looking at the menu when they're giving me, I was like looking for the pie. Come on, give me some New Zealand goodness. But I had to wait till afterwards. Bakehouse in Panmure, East Auckland.
Bakehouse is good.
Yeah, that's a great pie place. So I missed my pie, my mince and cheese pie, double cheese if they've got it. Bakery donuts, the long bakery donuts, so good. Yeah, Penny Lane's and Onehunga is also a very good one.
Heard good things. I've heard good things.
I know.
Yes.
I know my pie.
Do they
spot.
have the cronuts? Is it
Not in.
place?
That's a great question.
I think I'm going to get social media abuse after that. How dare you? Anyway, before you even went overseas, though, well, in my eyes anyway, watching you compete in, you know, cars like Lethal Ladies, Princesses of Pain, to me, you were a great advocate of women's MMA.
Thank you.
How have you seen the landscape kind of change? Because you've stepped out of it for a little bit and you've come back.
Yeah.
So what changes have you seen in New Zealand especially?
There is this like this need from women, or there's not need, but there's this like this feeling for women, I guess, to do it. But then there's still this like veil of like hesitancy from them. So I'm trying to like rip that veil down and like, you know, make it more, you know, or just kind of take away the barriers or whatever hesitations that they have, with even something as simple as entering a fight gym, you know, because that's intimidating, you know. And so, my big focus is to work with women, work with young girls, to bring them up through the sport and just to serve. I really am so grateful for the people that have invested their time into me coming up while I was here and while I was away. And the one thing that I know that I can do is to, you know, pass those learnings on to others and create this kind of like generational, you know, transfer of knowledge.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I've been so lucky to train alongside some top level strikers, you know, Tiffany Van Soos, Zhang Jingnan, you know, one championship strawweight. And so, yeah, and like I say, it's very rare that you'll come across any woman in the sport that, you know, just isn't not, you know, that doesn't want to just instinctually help others, you know, like I don't think I've ever come across anyone that was nasty or, you know.
Yeah.
So that's
well, outside of the ring, you're talking.
Yeah.
Inside
Sorry.
of it.
Outside of it. But then the same person outside of the ring.
Yeah.
Nice again.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, I mean, there's been a couple, but it's very rare, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I was looking at a photo because you're now training at City Kickboxing, which, you know, a lot of New Zealand are very familiar with, especially on the UFC stage.
Yes, of course.
So tip our hats to City Kickboxing. But there was a photo there with you, Jenna Fabian, Gina G, Baby Nansen, and I was just like, okay, I am here for this. I am here for this. I loved seeing that photo, and I was just like, okay, this feels like this is evolving now, and it's exciting to see.
Yeah, it really is. And I knew that was one of the basically like the only gym that I knew I wanted to be at, because I knew that was where I would continue to kind of, you know, be under the right people to continue my international career with fighting. So yes, I basically turned up. and turned up at the gym, and Doug Viney was there, so I was talking to Doug, and he linked me in with Eugene, and those two have just absolutely looked after me, and now I'm teaching there twice a week.
Wicked.
Just to kind of help out. And so, and like you say, surrounded by some powerful, top level, international standard fighters, and the guys too have just been great. Just being in that environment where you're thriving off the energy that that you've just come from, an international standard gym at Bali MMA, to come back to City Kickboxing and have that same energy and the same drive, has been really, really good.
People think about, Israel Adesanya is the superstar, and Dan Hooker is, oh my God, Kai's over here, and Brad Riddell, it's things have changed since you've been gone. Okay. We have these celebrities now.
Yes, yeah.
But how do you feel when you go into a class and you have these conversations with them? I'm guessing that's obviously nothing.
Nah, man, I'm grateful every single day. Because you know what? Like, even before I left, because I was fighting on some of the same cards as these guys, or like being in the same environment as these guys. So I was idolizing them before I even left New Zealand. And so to have supported them from afar, and then to come back and see just how they've grown, and that's a massive tribute to the people that they're surrounded by, City Kickboxing, and the training partners that they're surrounded by, and to be in that environment and to watch these guys every day, day in, day out, to say hi to them, to just have them just showing us how things are done. Brad Riddell, like, they'll be doing things over in the corner, I'm just kind of like watching, just like trying to listen and getting little tips along the way. So it's cool, man. Yeah, it's really, really awesome.
Where the magic happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this wahine tōnus of yours runs in your family with your sister.
Yeah.
So you can state who your sister is for our viewers, and then I'll carry on from there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, her name is Cheree, but her wrestling name is Dakota Kai. So she's the first Kiwi female to be signed to WWE, just that little wrestling promotion over in the States, WWE. But she's been grinding this beautiful thing for this beautiful journey of hers for a long time. It didn't just happen overnight. She's been doing this before I even started fighting. She was wrestling, she was doing a thing, and I've spoken about this before, but the way that she kind of almost decided and kind of took her path in life was very much, it very much influenced the way that I decided to live mine. And, I am still so proud of her. She's very busy over there. She's based in Orlando, Florida, but, man, she's doing such awesome things. So not only is she, doing the wrestling thing, and they were continuing to wrestle and put shows on throughout.
With no crowds, right?
With no crowds, yeah. They have like electronic crowds, which is insane. They just have like screens of little faces. Like,
it's really weird, yeah.
Really strange. But people dig it, wrestling's huge over there. It's even bigger. Like, she started in New Zealand. She got opportunities to go to Australia. Then she went across to Japan. From Japan, she started getting opportunities. She started to get on the radar of, WWE in the States. And so, yes, she's kind of forged a bit of a path, and there are other Kiwi wrestlers as well. You've got Aaron Henry, Travis Banks as well, who Kiwi wrestlers doing awesome things around the world. And so, so she's wrestling, plus she's now getting into gaming.
Wow.
She's doing a lot for the gaming community. So she raises a lot of money through her Twitch account, and she's doing awesome.
With your sister, you both forged these professional careers, and you talk about, what you were going through in Bali. Did you ever reach out to her? Yeah. She'll know all about home away from home.
Oh, yeah. Yes, of course. Yeah. Man, I speak to her almost every day. And nice. Particularly when things were getting quite difficult emotionally, like, she was amazing. My whole family were, but her in particular, I guess it's hard because we are quite close.
And you're close in age too.
Yeah, she's basically 1 year. Yeah, so she's May 6th and I'm May 17th, so Taurus babies.
Yeah.
So we're very close in age. But yeah, I guess it was hard for her to watch me from afar kind of struggle when she didn't feel like she could do much, but she did so much to help me. She helped me get home. Anything that I needed, she made sure that, you know, I got it, or there was a way for her to get it to me. So I'm forever grateful for her. And so, yeah.
What are the conversations like? Well, I mean, obviously not last Christmas, gone.
Yeah.
But, you know, is there still like, I love you, but there's competition as well? You know, family, I have a twin sister and I have a sister
Yes,
2 years younger than me.
You do, yeah.
And it can, like, saying without saying.
Yeah. Those like low key, like, nah, not with my sister. Nah. I think it's maybe because we're just on two completely different like platforms almost. I mean, she's doing her thing, I'm doing mine. There's very little, like, man, it's so strange. Like, people are always like, oh, who would win out of your sister and you? And I'm like, that's a stupid question to ask anyway, because I would win. Obviously. Like, nah.
Offended.
Yeah. No. But never any competition, just all love, like, and so, yeah, she's gone through moments too where she's kind of had to get past a lot of that stuff that I've had to go through too, you know, being away from home and being away from family. But she's just doing so awesome. She's so focused and dedicated, and so what she's doing always kind of inspires me. And yeah.
And here you are now,
And here I am.
moving into the seminar realm.
Yes.
So you actually studied Bachelor of Communications
I did,
before all of this, before this life.
Yes, yeah.
And so now you'd be able to probably tap into that a little bit when you're speaking to these women at this upcoming seminar. So tell us a bit about that.
Yes, the same people that I was talking about before with Wahine Toa, Women's Muay Thai in New Zealand, they approached me and sent me a message and just asked if I would be keen, and I jumped at the opportunity. I've always, like you say, like I studied communications, but even before that, like, I was that kid in school that used to always get told off for talking and for distracting others. Like, I'm that person. And so I guess, and I was involved with performing arts for a little bit too. Kind of while I was at university, I would perform. And so naturally, I really just think I like speaking and sharing. And although being on stage, it was very different, I would get horrendous stage fright. But man, just like, I feel like I've always really enjoyed and loved connecting with people. And so talking and public speaking and all that kind of stuff, it's something that I've, you know, just come around to just naturally evolving through the years. But the Bachelor that I studied at AUT definitely helped, you know. And so, so the seminar that I've got coming up is a female-only seminar, and it's going to be held in Hamilton at Te Hepoki Muay Thai. So that's on February the 20th, and I'm just so excited because for me, like I say, like I came back and all I wanted to really do was share everything that I've learned and share my knowledge and my skills and with women here. And so having the platform to be able to do that, I'm just so grateful for. So I'm kind of doing it a little bit differently. So I'm going to be doing like the physical part of, you know, the drilling of what a seminar is usually about. And then I really wanted to kind of break off while we were like kind of finishing up and present a little bit around my learnings as a professional female athlete, that's been overseas for the last 3 years. And a few of my learnings that I really believe that female fighters, if they are to kind of carry on this journey, that they really need to know, you know, like there is so much that's not spoken about in the, you know, female fighting environment that, I really want to be able to educate and share my learnings so that we can really look after our women when they potentially go out onto these big platforms and these big stages. And so that's going to be really exciting because it's something I'm super passionate about. Not only about the drilling and the striking and the skill learning, but just that other stuff that women really need to know.
Ka pai you.
Thank you.
That's us. Thank you so much for joining me today. I can't wait to see what comes of these seminars. I'm sure you're going to be absolutely great.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Rab.
You're very welcome.